Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
All right, Chris in Miami.
How you doing, Randy?
Hi, Chris.
I'm just chiming in. The Democrats, I think, are not approaching the whole Bill Barr situation procedurally in the best way. And let me explain. What's going to happen is this. If they move to hold him in contempt, Barr is going to probably file a petition for injunctive relief in the federal district court. And he's going to argue that he has good cause not to resist a subpoena pursuant to Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure because it's secret, because the underlying evidence is secret. So what's going to happen is what happened in the Holder case. The court's going to find that there is good cause based on Rule 6. But what the Democrats need to do under existing legal precedent, they must open impeachment hearings, then petition a court. Under those circumstances, based on the case law, the court will find that there's just cause for disclosure of the underlying evidence. That's what they need to do.
They will do that. They will do that. Listen, of course, they will go to a court and they will argue that there's a prosecutorial exception to keeping secret grand jury testimony.
Yes, I mean, they did. That's what Barr is going to argue.
No, I know what he's going to argue, but, obviously they will go to the court and they will ask a court to make available the 6E material, the grand jury material, so that Mueller can testify about it.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is going to be is that the Democrats have not come out and said they're opening impeachment hearings. And under the case law, they have to show, that there is an ongoing impeachment.
That there's a prosecution, right? And then the prosecutorial exception kicks in.
But the problem is that Pelosi doesn't want to call it.
I understand. I know, but I think she's losing patience. I really do. I think she.
I hope so.
I do too. And here's just some breaking news for you, Chris, because you sound like you're an attorney.
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So Steve Mnuchin has just written a letter to Richard Neal, the chairman of the House Ways and Means, and said that it would be illegal for him to release Donald Trump's taxes.
Oh my! You know what? Now Mnuchin, they have just cause to find him in contempt because under the plain meaning of the statute, there is no exception.
None.
He has to turn it over.
Yeah.
So he's in contempt. And right now we're seeing another impeachable offense in plain sight because what Trump is doing with respect to his tax returns, that's impeachable.
Right.
I mean,
I'm saying, so this is why I keep on, emphasizing that we are in a constitutional crisis.
So you're absolutely right. I've been listening to you. You're absolutely. We've been in a crisis for a lot longer than these past few months.
Yes.
We've been in a crisis for over a year.
Yes.
Almost 2 years.
Yes.
I mean, it's a bad situation, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm just hoping that Mueller will get to testify and make it clear to the American public, because a third of the country is completely ignorant. They think that he left it up to Barr to decide.
Right.
That's not what the report said.
No.
He made it clear that his hands were tied.
And that he was punting to Congress, yes, and that it was Congress's job to go ahead and have an impeachment. That the only remedy for this felony president, for this lawless criminal president, was to have Congress impeach and the Senate to remove. And he then just washed his hands of it and said, there's nothing I can do because of this stupid OLC rule. All right. So I'm going to lay it out for you, all the evidence that I found. And, you need to indict him, and then you need to have a trial in the Senate because I can't do it. That's what Mueller's position is.
And there is a basis to impeach him just on collusion. It may not be criminal conspiracy, but under the impeachment clause, a president can be removed for both criminal or non-criminal misconduct.
Yes.
That is malfeasance. And welcoming the help of a hostile foreign power as a presidential candidate, that is impeachable.
That's why when I get to the part in the report about the polling data, okay, and I see that Mueller knew that regular updates about internal polling data were being provided by Paul Manafort to Kilimnik for the ingestion by Oleg Deripaska and Vladimir Putin, and yet he still says, even in the light of this kind of collusion, this kind of handing over internal polling data, my hands are still tied because Manafort lied so much that I can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Meaning what he says in the report is, I don't know what they did with the polling data. And the reason I don't know what they did with the polling data is because Manafort lied so much. Oleg Deripaska is in Russia, and so is Konstantin Kilimnik. So I can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, exactly. The obstruction worked.
Right.
I mean, there was encrypted apps, emails were deleted, messages deleted. This is a classic case where obstruction actually worked.
Right.
And meanwhile, Trump is also participating in the obstruction.
Right. Right.
It's that criminality written all over it.
Right. And this is what is so frustrating, is that we know that. Those of us who cared to read the Mueller report, those of us who cared to understand that the Trump campaign provided Russia with internal polling data that specifically targeted Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Michigan. And that the only reason why Mueller threw his hands up is because of this OLC decision and the fact that he wrote, one of the things he wrote, the investigation established that several individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign lied, and they lied to us and to Congress about their interactions with Russian affiliated individuals and related matters. Those lies materially impaired the investigation of Russian election interference. That's everything. That's everything.
I agree. And the worst part about it is that this clown wins re-election, he's going to get away with all of it.
Never mind get away with it. He's going to double down, and America isn't going to be America anymore. I mean, people will be able to steal your house. They'll be able to steal your bank accounts. They'll be able to just steal from you. White-collar criminals will go to town. They will just go nuts. And America will just look like some banana republic, okay? That's all it will be. We'll have very rich, and everybody else will be poor. That is just the wet dream of the oligarchs. It's what they want, and I'm talking global oligarchs. It's not just Trump. Trump is part of a oligarchy, of a slouching toward Gomorrah, of a corporate cosmology. He's just he's the biggest globalist that ever came down the pike. But the fact that the law will be thrown out the window and we will become a nation of men. Men like Trump, men like Manafort, men like Bill Barr is so freaking. We're right there. We're right there, and it's now or never. We don't.
Yeah, listen. Pelosi doesn't want to open up the can of worms, but I think she's making a mistake because I think that if she opens up impeachment hearings, win, lose, or draw, when the American public hears Mueller testify, hears all the evidence come out in the public hearing, the Republicans. You're absolutely right. We can predict if she passes articles of impeachment, the Democrats do in the House. McConnell is not going to hold an impeachment trial. Why? Because this record is so tainted that the Republicans are going to look terrible defending this man. And it's going to kill the Republicans at the polls in 2020.
Right, and that is why his next move is obviously an aggressive one, like war or some sort of operation where he becomes a wartime president. We're not allowed to criticize him anymore.
Well, I agree, but your predictions have to watch. If articles impeachment pass, we're not going to get an impeachment trial. He's not going to allow it to happen. He's going to pull what he did to Obama with the Supreme Court justice, can't recall it, with Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
He's going to do the same thing, but in the impeachment context.
Yeah.
Because I looked it up. There is no constitutional mandate that there must be an impeachment trial.
That's right. That's why I keep telling everybody he's not going to have a trial. I don't know why anybody.
You're absolutely right. When I heard you say that a couple weeks ago, oh my gosh, he's right. Because I looked it up myself. I researched it. Oh, Lord. Right.
All it says is that the Senate is the sole trier. It doesn't say the Senate must try, shall try, will try, nothing like that.
Your analysis is sound. You're absolutely right.
Well, thank you.
That's exactly what.
What kind of law do you practice? What kind of law?
I do civil litigation. I do a lot of insurance litigation. That's how it works.
Oh, you're a shark, man. Okay, I'm scared of you now. All right, thank you for
All right,
everything. Thank you so much,
Sure, no
Chris.
problem. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Oh yeah, well, civil litigation, insurance lawyers. Oh, I get chills. They're mean. That's what they are. All right, Elton in Buffalo.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Hi. A first-time caller.
Oh, wow. Good way to end.
Well, and I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Go ahead.
Does impeachment and acquittal by the House and acquittal by the Senate constitute double jeopardy?
No.
And make it impossible to hold Trump criminally liable?
No. As a matter of fact, Mueller actually addresses this in the Mueller report and says that even if we impeached him, it wouldn't solve the criminal problem of having a felonious person in the White House. He says, impeachment would settle, whether or not he was indicted, but it wouldn't settle any, and even if we removed him, Mueller says, the criminal part of what he did still remains to be litigated, still remains to be addressed in a court of law. So, no, it's not a double jeopardy situation. And just remember the House, if the House does move toward impeachment, they will impeach him. But there won't be a trial. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.